All right, welcome back, everyone. We're going to solve some more SQL problems today. We left off last time. Yeah, here we go, on that LinkedIn duplicate job listings. So we'll start now with the following, and we're going to do a couple more ECs today. Let's take a look. Start the timer. All right, so assume you're given the tables containing completed trade orders and user details in a Robinhood trading system. Okay. Write a query to retrieve the top 3 cities that have the highest number of completed trade orders. Top 3 cities that have the highest number of completed trade orders listed in descending order. So order by descending. Okay, by the number of complete trades, more likely than not. Output city name and the corresponding number of complete traders. Okay. Get the schema of the trades table. This is what the trades table looks like. Okay, trades, and then with the users, that's how we're going to get the city. All right. So then we have the users table, and the example output is, all right, we want to by city total orders descending. Okay, and we want completed orders. All right, so top 3 cities that have the highest number of completed trade orders listed in descending order. Cool. All right, should be pretty straightforward. All right, so we know that the trades, it's the granularity that we're going to be working with, because that we're counting the number of trades. We need to filter by completed, right? And we need to also bring into basically the trades granularity, we want to bring in the city, which comes from the users table, right? So what we're going to do is we can leave it as like start from trades for now. And we're going to do, I'm just going to put a left join here with users, right? And we're going to join on and then users, we're going to list it as u. Realistically here we can use, both of them have the column name. So we're just going to say user ID using, right? This should join it. We want the city. We're going to go ahead and filter, right? So we're going to say where status equals completed. Single quotes. Remember, Postgres does not like double quotes. We learned that last time. Okay. Should be pretty much it. Now we do have city coming in. We can just say city. And we're going to count. It doesn't really matter what we count here. We can say distinct order ID. That's if we want to. Okay, this is where it gets a little tricky. We're assuming things about trades, right? We're not really told anything about the trades table as far as like duplicates go, or if it's like a transactional kind of situation, right? Like, will I get a repeated order ID? Maybe there's a data point that shows this. There's not. So the orders ID are not repeated. What I mean by transaction is like, okay, maybe we get one record when the trade is put in, it's requested, let's say, for example, a new record when it's canceled, a new record when it's completed, so on and so forth. It seems like it's a latest situation, kind of like we can assume that the latest status of the trade is what we have here. Let's assume that for now. And then go here and say group by city. Yeah, we can run this. Let's take a look. Should execute. That's good. The only thing is that it's not ordered, right? So we're going to say order by, and we're just going to copy the count I'm not sure if in Postgres we can just alias it and put it here. This is ascending, and we're going to say descending, right? So in theory, I think this should be it. All right, it doesn't match. Why? We have an extra record, which is New York. Why are we adding New York? We must have, it's the top 3 only. Right. You can just say a limit 3. This will match. If we submit, it should be accepted. Yeah. Again, kind of iffy, right? It's just an easy level question. Not to overcomplicate things. What if there's like matches, right? Or not matches, but like ties when it comes to the counts? How would you want to handle that? You would have to structure the query a little bit differently. You wouldn't be able to do it with a limit, right? Okay, so let's go back and review how we did this, right? Yeah, so basically we have a traits table, we have a users table that has the actual city information. That's piece of information that we need to break in for our final output, because our output, the granularity is based on that dimension, right? So on the city from the users table. Each trait is associated to a user. So that's how, based on the user ID, that's how we're going to bring in that information to the table traits, the traits table granularity. And that's where we put in the join. We filter by only completed, group by city. That's pretty much it. All right. Let's take a look at the next one. Amazon EC. Cool. Start timer. All right. Given the reviews table, write a query to retrieve the average star rating for each product, group by month. The output should display the month as a numerical value. Okay. Product ID and average start rating rounded to 2 decimal places. All right. This probably is gonna we're gonna have to remember this one. Sort the output by first month. Again, a lot of little caveats, right, to this question to make it probably match the expected output. We're gonna have to keep in mind, probably iterate too if we forget any. Month as a numerical value. That's kind of like can you do this, right? It's fine, we can do it. Average start rating, and then the rounding, make sure that we get 2 decimal places. We'll do that. And then the sorting, right? Let's take a look. It's a single table, reviews table. It has review ID, user ID, product ID, and stars. The example output, oh wow, what is this? Jeff Bezos, hello. Okay, the example output is we have the month, we have the product, and then the average stars for that, probably for that month. Okay, so we see the product repeated here, right? That means that for month 6, do you have 4 stars, for 7, this many stars, right? Cool. It's all in the same table. It's a relatively easy question. I think we're just going to do, it's essentially a group by and an average. I guess the only tricky thing here is that we need to create that month, right, first, I would say. As always, I'm going to just write a CTE because I like CTEs. It keeps everything organized. You always hear me say that. You will always hear me say that. I'm going to use the extract function. I think it's a perfect use case for this. I can type it. We're going to do extract month. Should extract the numeric value for the month. We're going to check this. Month from, submit date, right? And we're going to call this MTH. Right? Let's take a look if this works. Sure. Awesome. Month by numerical value. Cool. All right. We're going to, again, do the CTE like I mentioned, just so we can group by month the keyword instead of having to add the extract function over and over. It just makes things cleaner. We're going to do select, and we're going to say month, right? MTH, sorry. MTH, we're gonna do product ID as product, because that's what they want. And then we're gonna do the average of stars. That should be it from T1, right? Is our CTE. And then we got a group by MTH and group by product. Call it product ID in this case. Let's execute the code, see if it runs. The rounding. Can't forget that. We're gonna round, right, this to 2. Syntax for round, right? You can look it up, but it's basically whatever you pass is the number of decimals right here. It's slightly different for integers, I learned. Slightly different. Okay. There was also an ordering, right, that we had to do here. Output first by month, sort the output by month, and then my product ID. And when it says by month, ascending order, and then ascending product ID, I'm assuming. So order by, to clean my keyboard, my R is not working. Order by MTH and product ID. Try it. 8, 9, 10. Cool. Submit. Ta-da. But I guess the only thing is the naming for here. This website won't count against you. Some other ones, it will count against you. I think LeetCode, for example, if you don't name the column what they ask, it will count against you. All right, so let's review real quickly. How do we solve this question? Pretty straightforward. We just have a single table. It's a simple group by. I guess the only catch here, the only tricky thing is getting the month, right? It's just working with dates and timestamps. You get the month out of the submit date, and you're good to go pretty much. From there, just a simple group by with average aggregation, and then you can apply a round. That's pretty much it. Cool. Let's move on to the next question. Cool. All right, well-paid employees, FANG, SQL, interview question. Okay, that's interesting. It doesn't say what company. Most of them say, right? What company? Not this one. All right. Companies often perform salary analyses to ensure fair compensation. As an HR analyst, you're asked to identify all employees who earn more than their direct managers. Okay. Their result should include the employee's ID and name. Okay. It's a single employee table. It seems like, right? Employee table, and then in the employee table, we have employee ID, name, salary, department name, manager ID. Cool. And then basically, it's essentially anyone who makes more than their manager. All right. Faced some of these type of questions before, right? So what we can expect here is whenever they don't have a manager, the manager ID is going to be null. If that's the case here, that's essentially, well, not really. We can't say that that's how we know a person is a manager. Anyways, the question is not asking about that. It's asking overall employees who earn more than their direct managers. Okay, to be fair, what about middle managers, right? Is the question going to want us to filter for that? I guess that's something that we're going to know once it fails or it succeeds, right? But in an interview, I would recommend to ask, this is a clarifying question that will probably save you some time in the way you design a solution, right? There's a little bit of caveat, I would say, I guess, if you want only people who have a manager. I guess that's, I guess I'm just rambling at this point because if you don't have a manager, then you don't make more than a manager. Anyways, all right. Ask clarifying questions is the lesson here. And maybe second lesson, don't waste too much time because time is precious. All right, let's start coding. Okay, so what we're gonna do for these type of questions, we have a single table. I'm going to basically think about how we want to filter this. It's gonna be a filter situation where we just basically want to compare, right? Okay, this person's salaries versus their managers, and to do that, we need to have their manager's salary in that same table granularity, right? Like in the employee ID level granularity. So for Emma, for example, here, I would want to bring in their manager Liam's information when it comes to salary, specifically here, right? And then I can compare Emma's salary to Liam's salary. So the way we do that is basically with a self join, right? So we're going to left join it. We're going to left join to this level, to the employee ID. It doesn't matter what you call it. E1, we're going to call this. We're going to call this E2. Employee as E2. And then here we're going to actually have to use the on statement. We're going to say on E1 manager ID, right? We want the manager ID for the first table, which would be our employee space, let's call it. And then our E2 would have to match that on employee ID, right? So if we run this, for the case of Emma, we'll have Liam's right here, right? So that's good. Cool. All right, so now that we have this, it becomes quite easy, right? So all we have to do now is just, we have to filter where E1.salary, right, which is our employee salary, is larger than E2.salary. Let's take a look at how nulls are going to be handled. I think they should be handled gracefully here. When I say gracefully, I mean like in our advantage. Meaning everything should be accepted. That's what I think. Let's take a look if that works out. And they just want, on the output, they just want, so let's call this E1.employee ID, and we want E1.employee name, which is just name. And okay, I'm not going to waste time with that. Let's run it. Yep, and here we go. We have Olivia and we have Benjamin Hernandez. We run this, it's accepted, the nulls are handled, so no problems there. Cool. Let's review. Okay, just closing statements on this one. These kind of questions, self-joins, right? They're very common. Here is quite easy because we're just joining an employee and manager ID. In some cases, you'll have to do self joins with basically like previous and leading, so lagging and leading rows. For cases that you can't use window functions, you will have to do a self join. You'll probably see questions like that in the future. And it gets a little bit trickier on the joining conditions. This one was pretty straightforward. All right, cool. Let's go on to the next one. App click-through rate, Facebook. So if you saw this, you can work at Facebook. Assume you have, good luck working at Facebook. Assume you have an events table. Okay, on Facebook App Analytics, write a query to calculate the click-through rate, CTR. Cool. For the app in 2022, we're going to filter in 2022, probably, and round the results to 2 decimal places. We're doing some roundings. Percentage of click-through rate. All right, so here they define for us how to calculate click-through rate. Interesting. To avoid integer division, multiply the CTR by 100.0 and not 100. Cool little trick. Usually deal with it differently, but this is good to know. Cool. All right. I didn't start the timer. But anyways, let's take a look. We have an events table, which is the only thing that we have. And by app ID, for the app in 2022. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. The events table has both impressions and clicks. So we need to divide the number of clicks divided by the number of impressions grouped by app. And only events in 2022. All right, cool. Cool. Okay, how are we going to solve this? Let's think a little bit. First thing off the bat that we know that we need to do is we need to filter events to 2022 only, right? Because that's the only thing that we're interested in. The next thing that I'm thinking is when I have to calculate these sort of operations like this, percentages or like custom kind of division arithmetic calculations, I like to have things in columns, right? So I would say we're going to group by app ID, the count of impressions and the count of clicks, okay? And then after we have that, we are going to create our click-through rate. That's what I think what we should do to start coding. All right, as always, guess what I'm going to create? It's going to be a CTE first for all my filtering and good stuff that I'm going to do here, but I'm going to do, okay, first thing, we're going to filter a timestamp, right? Where timestamp, let's call is, should be good. Timestamp is between 0101 2022 and 1231 2022. Should filter everything by 2022. Let's run it to make sure. Okay, cool. It works. Now, all right, let's do this. We're going to have app ID. And what we're going to do is, trying to think if it's like a simpler way to do this. There probably is. I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to do a sum with a case statement because this should work in pretty much every language. So, or SQL flavor, I guess. So case when event type equals impression, then I'm going to say 1, else I'm going to say 0, and I'm going to end this, right? As impressions, okay? And I'm basically going to copy this, and I'm going to do the same thing for my clicks. Cool. Clicks is spelled like that, yes. Okay, we're going to do a group by app ID next. Let's run it. Let's take a look. Where am I having a problem? Case when maybe it doesn't like this comma. Okay, don't send me out now. All right, good. Okay, so we have our impressions, we have our clicks. This is exactly what we wanted. Now, makes things easy. Again, with T1 as we wrap this whole baby in a CTE, And we get our final answer, which is going to be select. We want our app ID, and we do our count here. We're going to do a round. We know that we want to round to 2 decimal places. But then we know that we want to do 100 times, we want to do here clicks divided by impressions. And this is as CTR. Don't autofill. CTR from T1. Let's run it. All right, getting an issue here. It's probably my it's probably this. It's probably a castings problem. Let's try this. Nope. All right. Huh. What if I cast this as numeric? Actually, this works. Line 13. It's interesting. Okay. Sure. Okay. Let's try this. It might be a data type thing. Yeah, there we go. It's interesting. The shorthand notation for Postgres is what I used. Oh, no, I think the shorthand is actually doubles. You can go back and verify. But let's submit it first and see if it's accepted. It is accepted. Cool. Pretty straightforward. Again, it's just a matter of getting your counts. Wrapping out analyst CTE makes it easy. I want to verify what I said about the cast, because this usually works. Okay, yes, it is double. Over colon, or whatever you call that. I think it's colon. Yeah, double, not single. So yeah, this is shorthand essentially, so that way you don't have to use the cast function. Works for Postgres. I don't know for other ones, MySQL, will it work? I'm not 100% sure, we'll have to verify. But yeah, if you're using Postgres, you can use that. Cool. Let's move on to the next question. We'll do a TikTok easy. It's nice these easy ones takes me like 5 minutes. Once we start getting to the medium and hard ones, I'm gonna be sitting here for a while. Okay. Assume you're given tables of information about TikTok's user signups, confirmations, start the timer. Through email and text, users on TikTok sign up using their email addresses. Okay. We're required to display the user IDs who did not confirm their sign up on their first day, but confirmed on the second day. Okay, this one's going to be a little tricky. Working with dates usually is a little bit trickier, but let's take a look. Action date refers to the date when the users activated their accounts and confirmed their sign up through messages. At the emails table, email ID is the sign up date, text, okay, we have text ID, email ID. That's how we're probably going to join them with email ID. It doesn't have users, I'm assuming that's what we're going to have to do. Action date. They're confirmed or I guess not confirmed. Does not confirm equal like a non-response? I guess it doesn't matter because we're interested here particularly on only confirmed use cases. Right? What does this look like? We just want to output the user ID. So basically what rows okay, this should be pretty easy. All right, so basically in what rows, after we do the join, the action date is equal to 1 day after the sign up date. That's essentially what they want, right? Right, according to display the user IDs of those, no. Yeah, who did not confirm their sign up on the first day, but confirmed on the second day, but still confirmed though. Cool. Cool, let's work on, let's start working on this. Emails, we're going to emails, right? We're going to left join text using email ID. Yeah, I mean, this should run, right? Yep, cool. For each email, we have the text ID. See, this is interesting. All right, it's a single entry in the email, but for that email, it appears twice in the text table, right? So we know that they signed up on the 9th. They did not confirm here. They did confirm in this case. Interesting. Okay, easy question. Let's not overcomplicate this. But basically what we want to do here, first thing, is we want to filter, right? We want to filter where sign up action equals confirmed, first of all. Because we only want cases where it is confirmed. Now, the other thing that we want, really, is, and I think we could do it here immediately, is cases where and action date is equal to sign up date. I think we can do plus 1 day, right? I think this should work. If not, we're going to have to call an interval object, perhaps. It doesn't matter. Let's try this. If not, we can do something different. Okay, it doesn't. What if I do plus 1? Does it automatically know that it is? No, because it's a timestamp, right? We can do this. We can say date of this is equal to date of this plus 1. Okay, I might have to look this one up on how it is handled. The other thing that we can do is we can do something like this, where we do action date minus sign up date, right? As time diff. Let's call it just diff, right? We could do this and delete all of this. Take a look at what this looks like. It's another way to do it. Oh, come on. Wait, did I? What am I doing? Of course, there's no data. Okay, but then this doesn't work still. Let's redo. Can I redo? No. All right. Date. I think I just had a typo in the filter. That's why it was showing no data, which I thought was weird. Don't need this here. Cool. This is essentially what we want. All right, sign up date. It knows that it's just one day that it needs to add. That's pretty much it. Cool. And for this, we just want to print distinct user ID. But just to be safe, we want to use distinct. I don't really have to for this, but you can if you want. Cool, that's it. Nice. Date thing. Dates are a little bit tricky to work with, especially when you like timestamps and dates, time differences. But yeah, you can convert to date, and that way you can just add one. It knows that you need to add one day. That's pretty much it. All right, let's work on the last problem. Okay, a little bit of water. All right, IBM is analyzing how their employees are using DB2 database by tracking the SQL queries executed by their employees. The objective is to generate data to populate a histogram that shows the number of unique queries run by employees during the third quarter from July to September. Okay. Additionally, it should count the number of employees who didn't run any queries. Okay, so you want by month probably unique queries and employees who didn't run queries. Okay. Histogram as histogram categories. This is an easy question. Wow. It's asking a lot of stuff to be an easy one. IBM. Sheesh. Weeding people out. All right. You have your queries. Cool. You have inquiries. You have employee ID, query ID, query start time, execution time. All right. Duration of the query. We're probably gonna use this when the query started. Okay. And then employees. Cool. Oh, no by month. It's just for that quarter. So all we really... What is this? Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. Grouped by the number of unique queries. The employee counts. This one's a little tricky. Cool. I did one like this recently, actually. Because it wants to count the number of employees, we're going to have to join it on, we want our left table to be employees. All right. Sorry, count the number of employees who didn't run any queries. We're going to have to be, our left one is going to have to be employees. So really we want to do from employees, all right? Let's take a look at this. Let's take a look, start coding. Guys, get on it. Okay. And then to this, we're going to join queries. And queries. Correct. And we're going to join it on employee ID. So I'm going to be I'm going to cheat a little bit here. I'm going to say using employee ID. Correct. Let's try it. Let's take a look at this. We should have some nulls, right? No, hopefully, we should have some null query IDs. Here we go. Perfect. So these guys are either, they work on something that's not related to SQL, or they're not working at all. All right. And not chat. Cool. We have that, right? We can start with that. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to filter the by query start times, right? We want where query start time. I don't understand. No, not Siri. Jeez, I hate that. Oof, you guys you're going to see me do something crazy right now. All right, where query start time is between July, which July is the All right, show you the knuckle trick. All right, so you place your knuckles like this, put your hands together, kind of like that, right? And then you count your knuckles for each month. The ones that end in a knuckle, you know it has 31 days. And the ones that don't, they don't have 31 days. Right, so that's the trick. I do this every single time. So and I do it in Spanish because I actually have it memorized in Spanish and I'm not really good at counting them months in English. So, enero, febrero, marzo, abril, mayo, junio, julio, agosto, septiembre. Julio, so July, it has 31. August also has 31. But September, it falls in the hole, it has 30. So remember that. And I lost my count. So I know July has 31. So I know it's 31. 2023. Right? And so sad. September is the 9th, so I'll subtract this. It should be 7 and 9, right? I think that's it. 9:30. 2023. Right? Cool. Stop playing silly now. Yes, 7. All right, cool. So let's take a look at this. This should be your third quarter. It's probably an easier way to do this. That's probably a way to extract the quarter from a date, to be honest. But, it's what it is. These are the queries, all the queries, and the employees associated. There is a little issue here, actually. There is a small problem. The problem is that these are the people who executed queries, because I'm filtering based on queries, on query start time, right? So, I'm going to need the folks who did not. Oof, I'm gonna pull a. All right, we're solving under time pressure. We just gotta solve. All right, so let's say we want to create buckets out of this. The first thing, right, that we need to do is that we need to know the number of unique queries that ran in this time period, which should be oh, brother, it's super easy. All right, this is what we're gonna do. No, employee ID. I don't want to do it on the name. We're gonna just look at how many unique queries each employee ran. That's what we're gonna do, guys. Easy peasy. All right. Employee ID, and then we're just gonna count, my friend, distinct query ID, because we already have everything here. Query ID. If we do this, of course, we need to group by. Awesome. We have our employee ID and accounts. This is my base, right? And honestly, I didn't even to do it like this. It's fine. It's fine. We're gonna leave it like this. But queries could have been my base table. Anyways, look who's here. CTE again. You always gotta have a CTE. You know, I love them. Gotta have them. Okay. This is what we're gonna do. We are going to now start with employee table again. And we didn't need it last time, but we're gonna use it again from employee, right? And we're gonna join our beautiful. We're gonna left join our beautiful CTE. T1, yeah, you say employee. Da 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 da. Yes, sir. And what do we need here? Let's do select star. Let's do a little select star action. Are you gonna give me? Yes. All right, employees. Sorry about that, fellas. Cool. And here we go. Here we have we're gonna call this query count. Query count, right? We run this beautiful thing. It's gonna say the same thing. No. What we're gonna do here is very simple. We're going to handle the nulls with a case statement. Case when query count is null. We're going to say it's null like this. Then we're going to say 0. Else we're going to do query count. And as query count, let's call this query count final, right? Awesome. You see it, pop, 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 done and done. Guys, let's do this. Many ways you can do this. I'm gonna wrap it in another CTE. Chris, I like them. Keep telling you. And finally, we're gonna do another select. Oof, I didn't write this properly. It's fine. We're gonna call it like this. As unique queries. And then we're gonna do a beautiful count distinct of employee ID from T2. And I'm pretty sure this is our answer. We're gonna order by unique queries. My friends, that should be ascending by default. If we run this, come on. Of course, my friend. We always have to have the group by. The order by goes after. We should go after. 0, 1, 2, 3, 5. No one did 4. Let's run it. Oh no. I counted more people than I had to. Did I overcomplicate this again? Huh. Okay, where did we go wrong? Where did we go wrong here? Uh, uh, okay. We're calculating the unique query IDs. This is right. Count distinct by employee. Maybe I messed up here. Right. Maybe it is this that I messed up in. No, it gives me the same answer. Which makes sense, that gives me the same answer. Because when I start filtering here, then I essentially did what I had to do. All right, cool. Oh, guys. What am I thinking? We're closer. Okay. We are closer. So I had put the end of July. It's supposed to be 1st of July. Let's do this. Maybe the whoa. I don't want to look at that. Maybe I'm getting bamboozled by this. I doubt it, but you can try. Less than, and we can just do 10:01. Okay, maybe it was the between. Yeah. Okay, that's important to remember. The between, I think it might have been excluding the bounce, perhaps. Well, the first thing is that one of the bounce was wrong, but then I think it was excluding September 30th. Well, anyways, okay. This is a little bit of a harder question. Let's review what we wanted to do here. Actually, it took me a little bit longer than I wanted it to take. The bucket situation is a little bit weird, but it's a good question to practice because this is very similar to what you would see in an actual interview. Very, very similar. Actually, I've seen questions like this recently, or in the past. So you have your queries, you have your employees. Well, the first thing, basically, the question is asking, all right, create buckets of queries that are, buckets of like number of queries ran in this period of time, and then tell me how many employees ran that many queries, right? So the mentality here is you have a queries table, you have an employees table. You have to know, it's very specific. It says, I wanted to show the number of employees who did not run any queries. That's very important to remember, because in your data model, your queries table, it won't have any employees. It won't have any records for employees that didn't run queries, because they won't be on there. So you know already that your base is going to have to somehow be your employees table. That'll be your source of truth, because at the end of the day, you're counting the number of employees, right? That's the final answer. Now, what you need the queries table for is to count the number of queries that actually, of the employee number of queries ran by employees that actually ran queries. So that's what our first CTE is going to do. It's going to look at queries ran during the time period that they request, be mindful of dates, right? And how you're going to filter. We initially started with a between. We had to move over to the greater than operators, right? So be mindful of that. But essentially what we're saying is, okay, just group by employee ID, number of queries that they ran, right? Number of distinct query IDs, because that's what the question is asking, really. Distinct queries, unique queries. Right. Now with that, we can then go and join it back to our employees. And really that's pretty much it. Because you want to join it back to your employee table, and then that's going to tell you for each employee how many queries they ran for that particular time or time frame, because you already filtered. So in this case, what you know once you join is that, and you're gonna be careful with what kind of join you use, but in this case you want to use it left join, right? Because you know that some employees are not gonna have queries. Employees that don't have any queries, they're gonna have null for that count. In this case, what we did is I'm sure there's other ways you can handle this. I like to handle it with case statements. It's very straightforward, very easy, and applies in a lot of languages. Pretty much all of them, all of the SQL flavors. So wrap it around another CTE makes it straightforward. Case when, fill in your nulls, essentially what you want to do. And then from there, it's a simple group by, because now you have your counts, you group by that, and then you count distinct your employee IDs. And that's pretty much it. That should let you work at IBM. Probably if you solve it under 5 minutes. Don't be like me and take this long. All right. Cool. So I think that's going to be it for today. Let's take a look at what's our status on here. So a bunch of questions. I think for next time we'll have a few more easy questions, right? Probably do all of the remaining easy ones, and then we'll start on the mediums. Honestly, I think I did these a long time ago. I don't even remember these, so we'll take a look at it. But that being said, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.